over at Cohost. I am in our lovely space all by myself, but I have my wonderful friend Meghan McKenna on the line with me. She is a local cheesemaker, has been making cheese for years. I met her 7 years ago when, if you'll believe it, I worked on a goat dairy with my husband when we first moved here from Brooklyn, and Meghan and her husband Sean were managing the farm and making the cheese and teaching us everything that we needed to know about raising goats and making cheese. Very tough work, which is why neither of us raise goats or make cheese right now. But Meghan has stuck with it and is currently working at Cherry Valley Dairy out in DUVALL. She is still there. Cheese is still being made. We have a lot of animals that are still producing milk. And so in order to use that to the best of its potential, we are still making stuff. So Meghan is actively making cheese now, and she actively made a cheese board or two for us. So in today's Cohost quick tips lesson plan, she's going to show us a little bit about those boards, how to make them from home, and what we can do to support our local cheesemakers. So Meghan, take it away.
Hi, thank you, Kat. Thanks for having me in your co-host virtual space. It's always nice to see your face. So I wanted to talk today a little bit about local cheese, and also how we can, even if we're home alone, we can make ourselves a wonderful little cheese board and support our local cheesemakers and keep their businesses going. I am a cheesemaker, and I have my own little small farm, which is only on paper at this moment. It's Woolly Cheese Co. We have 3 ewes and 3 ram lambs, and we're building our little dairy here. My day job is at Cherry Valley Dairy, which is a great Jersey farm in DUVALL, Washington. And we make all sorts of cheeses, and I'll show you a few of those in a little bit. We have on-farm pickup, so folks who need to get out of their house can come and pick up some cheese and dairy on the farm without touching a human or any cash. So that's a great way to do that. And then my experience right now, I work with cows and cow's milk. In the past, I worked with goat's milk. We spent hours and hours together, mostly cleaning, I feel like.
That was the part that got me, was like, when are we going to make the cheese? And you're like, when everything is completely sanitized and spotless. I tell you though, good practice, good practice.
Yeah, exactly. When do we get to the wine and cheese part of this equation?
Also, you're little tasting in that cheese room, like none, no tasting.
No, just lots of work.
Yeah.
So before I started that dairy with our partner, I went on a working honeymoon in Europe, and we were there for 6 months, and we worked on three farms making sheep's milk cheese, goat's milk cheese, cow's milk cheese in France and Italy and Ireland. And that was a fantastic experience. I learned wonderful techniques and recipes. And then going back a little further, I sort of got bit by the cheese bug when I moved out to Seattle, and I worked as a cheesemonger for metropolitan markets. Yeah, so, and while I was there, I developed.
Probably way more tasting.
Yes, lots of tasting.
That's where I messed up. That's where I messed up. I went all the way to the animal. I got to get to the end product. Start there.
Yes, so lots of tasting at Met markets, great cheese shops there. And that's where I got my start, and I got hooked on cheese, and I haven't been able to quit. So here we are.
No need to. No need to.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Nice. So you showed me earlier, and I'm excited to show everybody else, that you've made 2 cheese boards. One cheese board for one person, which frankly, both of them would feed me quite nicely, but we'll call it a single serving and a party plate.
Yes. Yes. So let's look at the party plate first, because this would be what I would try to put together if I had a few friends coming over. Kat, you're invited, obs.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let me just grab this. Okay.
Ooh, my gosh.
Can we see here, or should I tilt my little camera down?
If you can tilt it, that would be awesome. So we can get a little aerial view on that guy. Holy mackerel. So I see cheese, but I see a lot of non-cheese items. So is that kind of part of the cheese board spectacular?
Exactly. I love to create sort of different textures and different tactile feelings when you're tasting cheese. Let's see if I can get my little Fryson here. Okay, so I like to start first with the cheese. I think that's the most important thing. So I usually do 3 or 5 cheeses, depending on how many people I have coming around. And then within those cheeses, sort of different textures and different flavors are key. So on this particular board, I have a beautiful Fromage Blanc from Cherry Valley Dairy. It's got some lovely fine herb in there, chervil, marjoram, parsley. It's really yummy. So that's smooth, spreadable, really creamy. And then this guy is a tart, tangy feta, also from Cherry Valley Dairy. So this will have some of those sharpness in there and a little bit of tang. And then it also has like a different visual appeal, different shape and different texture. Yeah. And then this last guy here, this is an extra aged cheddar from Cherry Valley as well. Shocking, all the cheeses are from my...
Oh, you made all those cheeses. You should serve those cheeses.
That's right. It's just what I had on hand.
I love it.
And then this has a really nice kind of firm crystalline texture. So I was able to sort of chunk it into these beautiful little bits here. And then what I like to do with the cheeses is kind of show my guests how it should be cut. Okay. So I always cut a few slices, like you can see the feta slices. I've got some ready to go. And then people will have an idea, okay, I see, I cut it on the bias there, just like that. And then this guy, I've got one of these super sweet little baby parm knives. And so once we get through all these chunks, which we'll do in 5 minutes, we can start working on the rest.
Yeah.
And then I usually have some sort of cracker or bread. And I like to create some differences in height as well for your sort of visual appeal. So these I've got in a nice little ball jar. And then for different flavors, we're kind of on the cusp of fruit season right now. So, you know, we're a little bit over the citrus season, not quite to berries yet. So it's kind of like, what do we do? Apples are kind of mealy at this point. So dried fruits are great.
Oh, perfect. And pantry staple.
Exactly. It's just great to have. And then we've got some apricots and some tart cherries over there, some walnuts, and then pistachios are always fun. That's interactive. Just make sure you have a little pit there.
Yeah, fit.
And then also adding some interesting flavor, I have a beautiful quince jam from a local artisan.
Yeah.
It's Kat's mom.
Sweet. She'll love the shout out.
It's a gorgeous quince jam. And then another thing I like to do is make sure everything I have on the platter is edible. So even if I have like some herbs or flowers to decorate, I love to have those be edible as well. And here I have a few cherry blossoms from my cherry tree, and then some oregano just kind of scattered around for more appeal.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be eaten. It should just be edible so that nobody accidentally grabs a piece of poinsettia or something.
Yes, exactly. So a good thing to do would be to quickly rinse it off, make sure you have no bugs. And you could grab like fig leaves or cherry leaves or grape leaves are really fun. So, yeah.
Yeah, rosemary's a good one too. It's a little bit flavorful sometimes if something gets next to it, but
yeah.
Really beautiful in there. Well, this looks lovely. I'm coming over immediately. I also love the cheese that you have standing up on its end. I wouldn't have known how to do that, or wouldn't have thought to do that.
Yeah, it just kind of adds a little more visual appeal and a little fun.
I love it.
Okay.
All right, so this is meant to feed 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, 6 people. How are you gauging the cheese amounts?
Yeah, great question. I usually do about, if we're just going to be snacking before a dinner, I'll do probably 1/4 ounce to 1/2 ounce per person of cheese. And then if the cheese board is the focus, I usually do 1 ounce of each cheese per person.
Yeah.
So, or if, you know, like say my husband's in the mix, maybe I'll bump that up a little bit.
He does love cheese, so he chose the right partner's career there.
That's right.
You mentioned that you like to cut the cheese to show how it should be cut. How do I know how cheese is supposed to be cut? I mean, my Tillamook is basically just hatchet job.
That's a great question. I usually go by the cheese shape. So let's take this little bit of feta here. You can see it has a nice triangle, and I'll usually just follow that shape then. So kind of slice along here so we get even slices in that triangle form.
So the triangle just gets smaller and smaller, but then the last piece would be like a little.
Yeah, exactly.
A little pop it in your mouth job there.
That's right. And then like a cheese like this, which is that great aged cheddar, you could do the same with like a Gouda triangle or I don't know, a nice hunk of Comte. Mm-hmm. And then what I would probably do with this is lie it flat on my cutting board. And then I would take the knife and cut beautiful little triangles that way. So then you have like gorgeous triangles that you could array like a fan.
Yeah.
So that'd be fun. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What would you do with like a brie? Something that's kind of liquidy and maybe a little bit runny. Just pop it down?
I'd pop it down and I'd probably chop off that first little piece so people can see how gorgeous it is inside and then also know where to start at it. Because sometimes I find if I leave that on the plate untouched, then people might be afraid like, oh, this is special. I don't want to get into this, you know? Yeah. So make it inviting, make it like, this is all for us to eat and enjoy.
Yeah. Does it help also if as a hostess you take the first bite out of every cheese? Do you think that might be just a good way to make people feel more welcome?
Yes, just really pile your plate full. Let them know how to do it.
Perfect. This is how you eat all of the cheese.
Yes.
Nice. Okay, so let's say you are just making a quick little plate for yourself. You're going to sit down, watch a movie. You're just going to have a little chat with your friend on a happy hour Zoom call.
Yes. Yeah, so this is basically just the same plate and just made small. So we've got our little bit of feta here, and then we have our cheddar, extra aged, walnuts, apricots, tart cherries, and a couple crackers, a little knife. So you could do this just for, you know, your Netflix and chilling.
I love it. And then you had a dinner party, and since we're all probably going to be a little touchy about the touchy stuff, that might be a good one for individual cheese plates. Right.
And then you still get to enjoy it together, have that same shared experience, but you're not worrying about anybody's slobber on your cheese.
Yeah. So I've heard that, or maybe I'm making it up, you want a hard cheese on a soft bread and a soft cheese on a hard bread. Am I wrong about that?
That sounds great to me. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I like it.
And in that case, I invented it. It's one of my quick tips for all y'all. Do you need to have more than one kind of bread? Can you just do a baguette, or do you need a baguette and a cracker and a wheat thin?
I would do either like one bit of bread, or you could do crackers and a bread. And I like to have often a gluten-free option, like a rice cracker or a flax cracker, something that everybody can enjoy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. This has been so great. I've learned a lot.
Good. Good.
You are still at Cherry Valley.
Yes.
So we will pop that website on here with your contact information for where people can buy that. What do you advise for anyone who might not be within driving distance of Cherry Valley Dairy?
Great. Yes, there are a ton of local cheesemakers in Washington State. And because we've lost our farmers markets and our beloved restaurants as an outlet, a lot of them are having a hard time finding their cheese fans. So we're encouraging everyone to go to your local grocery store when you do your weekly run or twice weekly run and ask the cheesemonger for a selection of local cheese, because your support really helps now more than ever. And also if you're missing a cheesemaker from the farmers market and you can't find them at the grocery, just give them, look them up on their website or shoot them an email or on the Instagram and say, hey, how can I get your cheeses onto my table? And they would love to hear from you.
Yeah, I went to Hagen last week. It's my weekly grocery store shop lately. And they had 2-for-1 local cheeses the past couple times I've been. So that's been really fun because, some of these local cheeses are more specialty items. So it's been fun to get more bang for my buck to try more options.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's awesome.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Meghan McKenna.
Thank you, Kettleson.
This was so fun. And we will post all of the links and contact information below, and we'll be doing more of these, so stay tuned. Bye.
Bye.